Have you ever wished you could relive a memory as if it was recorded? A moment so precious, so unique, that you yearn to see it again and again. Well, the future has arrived, and it carries with it the promise of turning your cherished memories into visual masterpieces. Scene script. Picture this: the first time you rode a bicycle, a spontaneous dance-off at a family gathering, or that heartwarming conversation with your grandmother. These are moments that live in our hearts, yet they fade over time, their details blurring with the passage of years. But what if there was a way to preserve these memories in their full, vibrant detail, to revisit them as if you were experiencing them for the first time? Enter the world of artificial intelligence, where this is not only possible, it's happening right now. Artificial intelligence, or AI, has the power to transform simple text into rich, immersive video. This cutting-edge technology uses data, algorithms, and creativity to paint a picture from your words. It's like having a personal artist who can recreate your memories with the stroke of a keyboard. Imagine typing up a memory, the sights, the sounds, the emotions, and seeing it come to life on your screen. It's like dipping into your mind's reservoir of experiences and bringing them to life, frame by frame. And the beauty of it, the more detailed your memory, the more vivid your video. It's like giving your past a fresh coat of paint, making it more vibrant, more tangible. This technology is not just about nostalgia. It's about preserving our histories, our stories, our identities. It's about cherishing the past while embracing the future. It's about making every moment count and ensuring that no memory, no matter how fleeting, is ever lost to time. In essence, AI is your time machine, a gateway to the past. It's your personal filmmaker, transforming your recollections into cinematic masterpieces. It's your memory's best friend, ensuring that every laughter, every tear, every triumph is captured and preserved for posterity. So, the next time you find yourself reminiscing about a special moment, remember this: with AI, you have the power to relive your past. All it takes is a well-told memory and a dash of technology. In conclusion, the potential of AI to record the past is immense. It's a brave new world where our memories are no longer confined to the recesses of our minds. They can be brought to life, relived, and shared. The past is no longer a fading photograph. It's a high-definition video, playing on a loop, forever etched in our hearts and screens. With AI, we are not just memory keepers. We are memory creators, memory preservers, memory artists. We are the architects of our past and the curators of our future. And in this dance between technology and memory, we find a new way to hold on to the moments that define us. After all, our memories make us who we are. And with AI, they can now tell our stories in ways we never thought possible.
Opening the stage today is a tale spun by none other than my boss, a man of many talents but a prankster at heart. With an impish grin that could rival the Cheshire Cat's, he's surely the one to keep you on your toes. So picture this. Two of his closest friends tied the knot, stepping into the blissful journey of matrimony. In the spirit of celebration, my boss decided to gift them with something more memorable than a toaster or a blender. With a devilish twinkle in his eye, he concocted a prank that would ensure their wedding night became an unforgettable saga. He masterfully rigged their matrimonial bed to a doorbell, a setup as clever as it was mischievous. Now, every time the lovebirds retreated to their nest of love, the doorbell would chime, disrupting their sweet whispers of endearment. Imagine the surprise and confusion that danced across their faces each time the doorbell rang. The more they tried to snuggle into their love cocoon, the more the doorbell echoed through the halls. A symphony of hilarity that my boss orchestrated with the precision of a seasoned conductor. They wanted to bask in the glow of their newly wedded bliss. But the persistent doorbell had other plans. It was like a mischievous sprite interrupting their tender moments with its untimely chiming. Oh, the sweet irony of this prank. In essence, it's a tale of a clever prank that turned a wedding night into a comedy of errors. It's a testament to the humor, wit, and creativity of my boss, and a story that will echo in the hallways of our office for years to come. This prank, while simple, is a stroke of genius that transformed an ordinary wedding gift into a source of endless laughter. It serves as a reminder of the joy and hilarity that life's unexpected moments can bring. In the end, it's not just a prank, but a story of friendship, humor, and the enduring memory of a doorbell that rang at the most inopportune moments. So, here's to the pranksters who remind us to laugh amidst life's routine and often predictable moments. Ever been in a situation where you were warned about something but you did it anyway? Well, buckle up because this story will have you laughing your socks off. So there I was, a humble worker bee buzzing along on my line. My day was as ordinary as a loaf of bread, until a wild card from another line decided to spice things up. He sauntered over, all cool and casual, and greeted me with a hearty, "Hi, how are you doing?" I replied in my most serious tone, "Doing okay, but I'd steer clear of the ladies on this line if I were you. That's a one-way ticket to Troubletown." But oh no, this maverick wasn't one to back down from a challenge. His eyes sparkled with mischief as he said, "Well, consider that my test for the day." With a confidence that would make a peacock blush, he turned to one of the ladies on my line and said in a voice smoother than silk, "How do you do?" Well, faster than a cheetah on a sugar rush, one of the female bosses swooped in, her eyes shooting daggers. She told him in no uncertain terms that he needed to get back to his line. And there it was, folks, the exact moment he got in trouble for doing precisely what I warned him against. It was like watching a seagull dive bomb a beach picnic, despite the presence of a scarecrow. In the end, our brave adventurer trudged back to his line, his pride stung, but hopefully lesson learned. So, the moral of this hilarious tale? Stick to your work, folks, and maybe refrain from chatting up the ladies at work unless you fancy a quick trip to Troubletown. Because, as our friend learned the hard way, when someone gives you sage advice, it may be wise to listen, lest you end up as the punchline of a workplace anecdote.
Picture this. A routine lunch break turns into an unforeseen fiasco. The setting, a popular cafe known as Dutch Brothers. The protagonist, an unsuspecting boss just looking to quench his thirst. As fate would have it, a one-in-a-trillion event unfolds. A bird, soaring high above, decides to relieve itself. And in an almost poetic display of precision, the bird's excrement manages to find its way directly onto the part of the cup from which our boss was sipping his drink. Yes, you heard that right. The droppings went right through the tiny hole on the lid of the cup. The reaction? Well, let's just say the drink didn't stand a chance. With a mix of disgust and anger, it was promptly slammed onto the ground. An ordinary day, a regular cafe, a simple drink, and a bird with impeccable aim, all culminating in a story that's one in a trillion.
Have you ever ignored a warning and regretted it later? Well, gather round, because today we're delving into a tale of adventure, youthful folly, and a lesson learned the hard way. Picture this. It's a sunny day in the late 80s or early 90s. The air is filled with the laughter and chatter of myself, my little sister, and two of our female cousins. We're brimming with energy, looking for a bit of fun to spice up our day, and then an idea strikes. What if we could transform a simple tricycle into a thrill ride? A rope tied to the tricycle would be the ticket to an exciting adventure. One by one, I let them take turns riding the tricycle, giggling and squealing as it spins in wild brodies, the rope pulling them round and round. But, as the saying goes, all is fun and games until someone gets hurt. My father, a figure of wisdom, walks by. His eyes narrow at our game, his brow furrows. "That looks like an accident waiting to happen," he cautions. But we, in our youthful exuberance, choose to ignore his warning. The tricycle continues its wild ride. Suddenly, just as our father predicted, the game takes a turn for the worse. One of our cousins, laughing one moment and screaming the next, falls off the tricycle mid-brody. She skins her knee, a painful reminder of our disregard for caution. Thankfully, she's okay. No stitches needed, just a bandage and a hug. But the incident leaves us all with a profound realization. We should have heeded his words. We should have taken a step back when he said it looked like an accident waiting to happen. So, what's the moral of this story? It's to listen to the wisdom of those who know better. It's to remember that fun should never come at the cost of safety. We learned that lesson that day, a lesson etched into our memories with the scrape of a knee and the sting of regret. Remember, warnings are not meant to spoil our fun, but to protect us from harm. So the next time someone tells you something looks like an accident waiting to happen, take a moment to consider their words. It might just save you from a skinned knee, or worse, So heed those warnings and stay safe, for every moment of fun should be a moment treasured, not regretted.
Imagine this, a 12-year-old boy, his little sister and two of their cousins, all hatching a scheme to dodge Sunday church. It was a day like any other, their mother coming home from a grueling overnight shift, sleep beckoning her to bed. But the children had a master plan. The boy, the oldest of the group, had a light bulb moment, an idea so brilliant it was foolproof. Or so they thought. He led the charge in setting every clock in the house ahead by an hour. The logic was simple. Their mother, exhausted and bleary-eyed, would glance at the time and slip into sleep, none the wiser. The plan was set into motion. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Each clock in the house was manipulated an hour fast. The children exchanged triumphant glances, their mission almost accomplished. The stage was set, their mother would soon be home. But as fate would have it, their older sister walked in, her brow furrowed as she asked, "Who set the clocks ahead already?" The room froze, the question hanging in the air like a thick fog. The boy pondered, were we really supposed to do that? It dawned on them then, it was the Sunday to set the clocks ahead and they hadn't even known it. The realization hit them like a ton of bricks. Their foolproof plan had backfired. Their hearts sank as they came to grips with the fact that they'd be going to church that day after all. Their attempt to evade it had been thwarted not by their mother or their sister, but by a twist of fate, or perhaps a divine intervention. That day the children learned a priceless lesson, one that they would carry with them for the rest of their lives. No matter how clever or foolproof a plan might seem, there's always room for the unexpected. And sometimes the universe, or perhaps a higher power, has a sense of humor. The boy would never forget that Sunday, the day they tried to outsmart time itself, only to be outsmarted in return. It was a gentle reminder that every action has a reaction, often in the most unexpected ways. Picture this, a cunning plan, an unsuspecting mother, and a day off school that extended into a glorious 2-week spring break. This is a tale of deception, youthful audacity, and a gamble that paid off in the most surprising way. Once upon a time, in the throes of junior high school, an opportunity for mischievous adventure presented itself. My cousin Amanda visited us one day before spring break commenced. Seeing her arrival as a golden ticket to an extended vacation, a daring plan began to take shape. I decided to skip school that day, trading in lessons and homework for an exhilarating day of freedom and excitement. My little sister, the more conscientious of us, chose to stick to her routine and headed off to school. Turning off the ringer of the phone, I prepared for a day of playing truant, fully aware that the school would attempt to contact my mum about my unexplained absence. Camouflaged within the boundaries of our yard and taking refuge in the camper, I spent the day in a state of thrilling suspense. Amanda, my faithful accomplice, smuggled food to me throughout the day, ensuring my survival. The most shocking part of this daring escapade? My mum was home the entire time, blissfully unaware of my covert operation. 2 weeks later, as I returned to school, the reality of my audacious act caught up with me. The teacher questioned my absence on the last school day, a fact I couldn't deny. Yet when the school contacted my mum about it, a stroke of luck saved me. I had been absent the previous Friday due to illness, and my mum assumed that was the day in question. She excused my absence without a second thought. Little did she know her son had pulled off a daring escapade right under her nose. It was a secret I held close to my heart for about 2 decades. One might say it was a 1 in a million shot, but it happened, just as I've described it. In conclusion, this audacious episode of my life, full of suspense, excitement, and a little deception, was a testament to the daring spirit of youth. A day of playing truant became a memorable 2-week spring break, a secret kept for 20 years, and a story that I will never forget. It's a testament to the audacity of youth, the power of cunning, and the surprising ways in which luck can play out. In the small town where my friends and I grew up, a hush fell over the community as we dared to challenge the very laws of science. We had a plan to take a bunch of ordinary balloons and fill them with something extraordinary, laughing gas. But this was no ordinary laughing gas. This was a potent, highly flammable concoction. Just how flammable, you may ask? Well, you're about to find out. We knew we were playing with fire, quite literally. The flammability of the gas meant we had to be extremely cautious. A long fuse became a necessity, a lifeline to prevent immediate disaster, and so with the fuse lit, we set our creation free. allowing it to ascend into the sky, a ticking time bomb hovering above our high school. The moment of detonation was anticlimactic at first. A soft pop, barely audible, echoed through the night. A friend's grandmother, who shall remain nameless, brushed it off with a dismissive, "That was nothing." Oh, how wrong she was. The calm before the storm lasted for a mere 5 seconds. Then the town came alive with a sudden booming shockwave. Every window within a 5-block radius began to rattle, the ground beneath our feet quaking with the force of the explosion. The peaceful night had been shattered, replaced with the reverberations of our scientific experiment gone awry. The following day at school, whispers filled the hallways. "Did you hear the jet last night? It made a sonic boom," they said. We played innocent, feigning ignorance to the cause of the disturbance. No, we didn't hear or see any jet. The secret of the balloons was ours to keep. For 5 years we held our tongues, the memory of that night sealed away. We were bound by the pact of secrecy, a bond forged in the fires of our reckless experiment. But now I share our story, a tale that ranks an 11 on a scale from 1 to 10. Our adventure with the balloons wasn't just a story, it was an epic saga of curiosity, daring, and the power of science. A testament to the power of adolescent curiosity and the unforgettable memories it can create.
Picture this: a regular day, an average convenience store, 7-Eleven, the mecca of midnight munchies. I'm strolling down the aisles, arms full of chips, candy, and all the other deliciously unhealthy snacks that one craves at ungodly hours. Then, out of the blue, a young lady working the graveyard shift, eyes sparkling with a mix of amusement and bewilderment, pops the question. "So, you're getting all the goodies, huh?" she asks, a smirk playing on her lips. And then, without missing a beat, I retort, "No, I haven't got you yet." The store echoes with laughter as we both chuckle at the unexpected wit. Now, I won't claim it was the funniest thing to have ever been said, but boy, did it light up that 7-Eleven like a 4th of July firework. But the real kicker here, that's not even the funniest thing I've ever said. I know, hard to believe considering the comedic gold you just heard. But it's true, that was just a drop in the ocean of my comedic genius. It's like that time I told my friend, "You know you're getting old when you bend down to tie your shoe and wonder what else you can do while you're down there." Or the time I quipped, "I'm on a whiskey diet. I've lost 3 days already." Now I could go on, regaling you with tales of my wit, but I can already hear you saying, enough, we can't handle this much humor. And really, who am I to argue? So let's wrap up this trip down comedy lane with a twist. Remember that 7-Eleven lady? Well, turns out she wasn't just laughing at my joke. She was laughing because I'd accidentally grabbed a bag of cat food instead of chips. So, the joke was on me after all, and that, my friends, is the essence of comedy. The ability to laugh at oneself and find humor in the most mundane situations. Even if it means realizing you were one step away from snacking on Whiskas instead of Doritos. But hey, at least it would have been a hearty meal, right?
Ever found yourself in a situation so amusing that it's permanently etched in your memory? Well, let me share a tale that is certain to tickle your funny bone. Picture this: a quiet evening with some friends from my church youth group gathered in the living room of my humble abode. There we were, Gabe strumming away on his guitar, lost in his own little world of chords and melodies. In the meantime, I was having a bit of a conundrum with my television. Now, this wasn't your ordinary run-of-the-mill TV issue. No, this was the kind of problem that would make even the most seasoned tech guru scratch their head in confusion. Enter Christian, the resident fix-it guy of our group. With a mischievous glint in his eyes, he proposed a solution that was as outrageous as it was hilarious. "You know what you should do?" he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Just reach into someone's window, grab a TV, and take it home with you." Gabe's sister Sarah, the voice of reason among us, immediately objected. "That wouldn't be right, would it, Roger?" she asked, turning towards me with an expectant look. Now here's the kicker. Instead of agreeing with Sarah, I decided to play along with Christian's ludicrous suggestion. With a poker face, I replied, "No, I would have to unplug it first." The room erupted into laughter. Gabe nearly dropped his guitar, Sarah was doubled over, and even Christian, the instigator of the whole scenario, was laughing so hard that he was gasping for breath. Such is the power of humor, my friends. It transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. This incident, with its unique blend of absurdity and wit, remains one of the funniest experiences of my life. It's a testament to the joy of shared laughter, the kind that leaves you clutching your sides and gasping for breath. And all it took was a faulty TV, a ridiculous solution, and a punchline that caught everyone off guard. Now that's comedy gold.
Have you ever wondered why sometimes the pastor's sermon seems to eerily resonate with your personal life? It's as though they've been privy to your private thoughts, your struggles, your sins. Is it divine intervention, or is there something else at play? This narrative will delve deeper into the hidden truths of church hierarchy and the influence it might have on the messages delivered from the pulpit. A thought that might have crossed your mind, an inkling that somehow the church's higher-ups are privy to your personal life, and that the pastor's sermon, particularly those that dwell on the darker aspects of human nature, seem to be directed at you. It's an unsettling thought, isn't it? Imagine the higher-ups of your church, those who are supposed to guide and uplift you, instead snooping around, gathering tidbits of your life, and then feeding it back to the pastor. It's a scenario that would make anyone uncomfortable, a breach of trust that goes against the very principles the church stands for. But why would they do this? What could they gain from such a practice? The answer might lie in the age-old art of storytelling. By incorporating real-life elements into the sermon, the pastor creates a narrative that resonates deeply with the congregation. It's a powerful tool for engagement, making the sermon more relatable, more impactful. But what about the focus on the negative, the so-called evil aspects of life? Shouldn't the church be a place of love, forgiveness, and acceptance? This is where things get murky. The church, like any other institution, is not immune to manipulation and control. A sermon that dwells on fear and guilt can be a potent tool for control, keeping the congregation in check, ensuring obedience. But this isn't an indictment of all churches. Many are places of genuine love, compassion, and spiritual growth. However, it's crucial to remain vigilant, to question and critically analyze the messages you're receiving. So, next time you sit in the pews and the pastor's words strike a chord a little too close to home, ask yourself, is this divine intervention or manipulation? Think critically, question everything, and remember, the church is supposed to be a place of love, acceptance, and spiritual growth. If it's not fulfilling that role, it might be time to look elsewhere. And if you suspect that your personal life is being used to craft sermons, don't shy away from addressing it. Confront the issue, ask the hard questions. Remember, you're not just a member of the church, you're part of its community, and you have the right to ensure that it upholds the values it preaches. So let that sink in. Let it stir your thoughts, your actions, because in the end, it's not just about finding a church, it's about finding a community that respects, nurtures, and values you.
You know, back when I was a fresh-faced 16-year-old, I had this conversation with my aunt. I was so eager, so impatient to turn 18. And I said to her, "Auntie, when I turn 18, there's nothing stopping me. I can do anything I want." She looked at me, a hint of humor twinkling in her eyes, and said, "Oh, really? But you can't drink alcohol." I remember the surprise that washed over me, but then I shrugged. I don't want to drink alcohol. I was right, I could do anything I wanted. You see, the world has a funny way of imposing its rules and restrictions on us. We grow up hearing about all the things we can't do, shouldn't do, mustn't do. It's like a never-ending list of don'ts. But here's the thing, those restrictions, those rules, they're not the be-all and end-all. I remember being that 16-year-old so eager to grow up, to break free from the shackles of youth. And when I did turn 18, I realized something profound. The world was my oyster, not because I could legally do more things, but because I had the power to choose. I had the freedom to decide what I wanted to do, and equally important, what I didn't want to do. That conversation with my aunt, it stuck with me. It wasn't about the alcohol. It was about the power of choice, the power of decision. It was about understanding that I had the freedom to carve my own path, to make my own choices. And that's what I want you to take away from this. Freedom isn't about doing everything. It's about having the choice to do anything. It's about understanding your power, your agency to decide. It's about realizing that you're the captain of your own ship. You hold the reins, you chart your course. In the end, just like that 16-year-old me, you can do anything you want. It's not about breaking rules or defying conventions. It's about understanding your freedom, your power to choose. And that, my friends, is the most liberating feeling in the world.